Have you ever found yourself unintentionally drawn into a conversation that wasn't meant for your ears? You're not alone. Overheard conversations, snippets of dialogue caught in passing, have a strange allure. They spark our curiosity, inviting us to piece together the story, to fill in the blanks with our own imaginings. This is a universal human trait, a curiosity that transcends cultures and eras. It's like a siren call that our brains find hard to resist. Why? Psychologists believe it's rooted in our social nature. We are, after all, social creatures wired for connection and communication. When we overhear a conversation, our brains instinctively tune in, eager for information, for insights, for knowledge. There's also the thrill of the forbidden, the allure of the unknown. Overheard conversations are like puzzle pieces, fragments of a larger story that we're not privy to, and there's something exciting about that, about being a silent observer, a fly on the wall, privy to secrets and private exchanges. But it's not just about curiosity or the thrill of the unknown, it's also about empathy and understanding. Listening in on others' conversations allows us to step into their shoes, to see the world from their perspective. It gives us a glimpse into their lives, their struggles, their joys. It reminds us of our shared humanity, of the common threads that bind us together. Of course, there's a fine line between harmless curiosity and invasion of privacy. But that's a topic for another time. For now, let's focus on the intrigue of overheard conversations, on the human curiosity that makes us inclined to listen in, to eavesdrop, to spy. While this curiosity might seem harmless now, it has a fascinating and complex history. So where did eavesdropping originate from? It's time to travel back to the medieval times. Picture this. It's the Middle Ages in England, an era of knights, castles, and clandestine whispers. There's no internet or wiretaps, yet the art of listening in on others' conversations is very much alive. But how? Enter the birth of eavesdropping. The term eavesdropping has a rather literal origin. It refers to those who would stand under the eaves of houses, where the rainwater drops. This was the perfect spot to overhear the conversations happening within. It's interesting to note the cleverness of these medieval eavesdroppers. They knew that the eaves, the overhanging edges of a roof, would provide them cover from being spotted while they listened in on the private dialogues of others. So what drove these individuals to stand under eaves, braving the elements, just to hear a snippet of someone else's conversation? Well, information has always been power. In an age where word of mouth was the primary means of communication, being privy to a secret could mean the difference between life and death, prosperity, or poverty. And so, eavesdropping was born. However, this practice was not without its risks. In fact, eavesdropping was considered a criminal act in medieval England. The eavesdropper could face severe punishments if caught in the act. Despite this, the lure of secret knowledge was often too tempting to resist. Over time, the term eavesdropping evolved from its literal roots to represent the act of secretly listening to others' conversations, regardless of location. Today, it's more likely to involve technology, and less likely to involve standing under eaves in the rain. But the essence of eavesdropping remains the same, the pursuit of knowledge that isn't freely given. It's a practice that's been around for centuries, born out of our innate curiosity and the desire to know more than we're supposed to. From under the eaves to the modern world, the act of eavesdropping has evolved significantly. Eavesdropping has long been a staple of literature and culture, often driving the plot in unexpected directions. The timeless art of eavesdropping has been a captivating plot device, shaping narratives and influencing character development in some of the world's most renowned literary works. Let's take a trip back to the Elizabethan era, where the master of drama himself, William Shakespeare, frequently used eavesdropping to stir up his plots. In Much Ado About Nothing, the entire plot hinges on eavesdropping, as characters spy on one another, leading to a whirlwind of misunderstandings, comedic situations, and ultimately, resolution. Or consider Hamlet, where the tragic downfall of the title character is set in motion by a clandestine conversation overheard behind an arras. Fast forward to the 20th century. The whisperings behind closed doors in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby subtly expose the undercurrents of deceit and betrayal that run through the glittering facade of the Jazz Age. And who could forget the iconic scene in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, where eavesdropping on a conversation about a prophecy sets the stage for the epic battle between good and evil? Eavesdropping is not confined to the pages of novels and plays. It permeates our pop culture, popping up in countless TV shows and films, from the classic sitcom Friends to the thrilling espionage of James Bond. It's an element of suspense, a trigger for laughter, a catalyst for drama. It's fascinating to observe how eavesdropping, a practice often frowned upon in real life, has been romanticized, dramatized, and even normalized in literature and culture. It serves as a mirror, reflecting our innate curiosity about the lives of others, our desire for knowledge, and our fear of being left out of the loop. From a dramatic device to a societal taboo, eavesdropping has remained an intriguing aspect of human behavior. Whether we're flipping through the pages of a book, binge-watching a TV series, or observing the world around us, the echoes of overheard whispers continue to captivate our collective imagination. Eavesdropping isn't just a matter of curiosity or entertainment, it has serious legal implications as well. In the world of law, eavesdropping is far from a simple act of overhearing. It's a complex issue, deeply intertwined with the rights to privacy and confidentiality. Throughout history, laws have evolved to balance the need for individual privacy with the requirements of law enforcement and national security. In the United States, for instance, the Fourth Amendment protects citizens from unreasonable searches and seizures. This includes protection against unauthorized eavesdropping. Issues of eavesdropping first came to the legal forefront in the late 19th century with the invention of the telephone. The landmark case, Olmstead v. United States in 1928, initially ruled that wiretapping did not constitute a search or seizure. However, this was later overturned in the 1960s with Katz v. United States, which established that a person has a reasonable expectation of privacy in their phone conversations. In the United Kingdom, the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act of 2000 grants law enforcement the power to legally eavesdrop under certain circumstances, but it also sets up a framework to protect the privacy of citizens, requiring that any form of eavesdropping must be necessary and proportionate. Invasion of privacy takes on new meaning in the digital age. Laws have had to adapt to new technologies like email, social media, and cloud storage, which have blurred traditional boundaries of privacy. Wiretapping laws have also evolved, with the Electronic Communications Privacy Act in the United States, for example, extending protection to electronic communications. The legal landscape of eavesdropping is complex and ever-changing, reflecting the evolving nature of our communication and the technologies we use. It's a delicate balance between upholding the rights of individuals and maintaining the security of nations. As our technology evolves, so does our understanding of what constitutes an invasion of privacy. In today's digital age, eavesdropping has taken on a new form. Gone are the days of simply overhearing a conversation from the other side of a wall. Instead, our smartphones, smart home devices, and even our laptops serve as the new ears, listening in on our daily lives. Now let's delve into how these technological marvels have transformed the age-old practice of eavesdropping. It's no secret that our smartphones are constantly at our sides. But did you know that they could potentially be listening in on your conversations? Certain apps have been known to access your phone's microphone, potentially recording and analyzing your conversations to deliver targeted ads. And it's not just our phones. Smart home devices, like Amazon's Alexa or Google Home, have also been implicated in this digital eavesdropping. These devices are designed to listen for their wake word, but there have been instances where they've recorded conversations without the user's knowledge or consent. Let's not forget the numerous scandals involving tech giants' unauthorized listening. You might recall the uproar when it was revealed that Apple contractors were listening to Siri recordings, including personal and sensitive conversations, or the backlash Google faced when it was discovered that Google Assistant also had human reviewers listening to audio clips. The advent of technology has undeniably changed the landscape of eavesdropping. It has brought the practice into our homes, our pockets, and into the very devices we use to communicate. But with this evolution comes a host of ethical and legal questions. Who has the right to listen in on our conversations? When is it an invasion of privacy? And how can we ensure that our personal conversations remain just that, personal? As technology continues to advance, the ethics and legality of eavesdropping become increasingly complex. It's a brave new world out there, and it's up to us to navigate the murky waters of digital eavesdropping. Why do we eavesdrop? The answer may lie in our psychology. At its core, eavesdropping is about information acquisition. We are naturally curious creatures. Our survival as a species has depended on our ability to learn about the world around us, and that includes finding out what other people are up to. Eavesdropping gives us a chance to gather information that we might not otherwise have access to, whether it's about potential threats, opportunities, or just the latest gossip. It's a way to satisfy our curiosity without exposing ourselves to potential risk or embarrassment. But there's more to it than just curiosity. Eavesdropping can also serve a social purpose. It can help us understand the norms and expectations of the groups we belong to, and give us insight into the dynamics of our social world. By listening to how others talk and what they talk about, we can learn what's considered acceptable behavior, what's valued, and what's frowned upon. And let's not forget about the thrill of discovery. There's something exciting about uncovering a secret, about being privy to information that others don't have. It's like finding a hidden treasure or solving a mystery. The adrenaline rush we get from this kind of discovery can be addictive, and it's one of the reasons why eavesdropping can be so hard to resist. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of eavesdropping is what it reveals about our own minds. When we eavesdrop, we're not just passive observers. We're active participants, interpreting and analyzing what we hear. We're using our cognitive skills to make sense of the information, to draw conclusions and make predictions. This process can give us valuable insights into our own thought processes and decision-making strategies. Eavesdropping may be more than just a guilty pleasure, it could be a window into our human nature. Eavesdropping raises many ethical questions. Is it ever justified? This query leads us into a labyrinth of moral conundrums, where the line between right and wrong is often blurred. Eavesdropping, in essence, is a breach of privacy. It involves listening in on conversations without the knowledge or consent of the parties involved. From a straightforward ethical standpoint, it's easy to classify eavesdropping as an invasion of privacy, a violation of trust, and therefore morally wrong. But like most things in life, it's not always that black and white. Consider a situation where eavesdropping could potentially prevent harm. Imagine a scenario where overhearing a conversation could stop a crime, or even save a life. In such cases, does the end justify the means? This is where consequentialist ethics come into play, a perspective that argues the morality of an action is determined by its outcome. If eavesdropping leads to a beneficial result, can it be deemed ethically acceptable? On the flip side, we have deontological ethics, a school of thought that maintains the morality of an action is based on whether that action itself is right or wrong under a series of rules, rather than based on the consequences of the action. From this perspective, eavesdropping, regardless of the outcome, is inherently wrong as it infringes on an individual's right to privacy. Then there's the ethical theory of virtue ethics, which focuses on the character of the individual, rather than the act itself. From this viewpoint, eavesdropping might be seen as a reflection of a person's character traits, such as curiosity, nosiness, or even a desire for power or control. As you can see, the ethics of eavesdropping are complex and multifaceted, with different philosophical perspectives offering varying viewpoints. But one thing is clear, eavesdropping is an ethical minefield that requires careful navigation. Navigating the gray area of eavesdropping ethics is a challenge we all face in today's interconnected world. We must always strive to balance our curiosity with respect for others' privacy, a task that is easier said than done. From the eaves of medieval houses to the digital age, eavesdropping has come a long way. The art of listening in on others' conversations is an age-old practice, and its evolution is a fascinating journey through time and technology. In the early days, eavesdropping was a literal term. People would stand under the eaves of houses where they could listen to the conversations happening inside without being noticed. This practice was common enough to earn its own name, evolving from a simple act of curiosity into a recognized behavior. As we moved into an era of written communication, eavesdropping took on new forms. Letters could be intercepted and read, giving the eavesdropper access to private thoughts and information. This era also saw the rise of eavesdropping in literature and culture, with stories often built around secrets learned through overheard conversations. But it was the advent of technology that really changed the game. The invention of the telephone brought with it the possibility to tap into conversations happening miles away. The digital age took this a step further, with the internet opening up endless possibilities for digital eavesdropping. Today, our devices can be turned into listening devices, and our online activities can be tracked and analyzed. This evolution has not been without its challenges. As eavesdropping became more pervasive, the law stepped in to protect our right to privacy. Laws were enacted to prohibit unauthorized access to private communication. But as technology advances, so do the methods of eavesdropping, leading to a constant game of catch-up between the law and the eavesdroppers. The ethics of eavesdropping have also been a topic of debate. While it's often seen as an invasion of privacy, some argue that it can provide valuable insights and information. This raises questions about the balance between the right to privacy and the potential benefits of eavesdropping. Next time you find yourself unintentionally overhearing a conversation, remember, you're participating in a practice as old as conversation itself.